Hello and welcome to the Home Assistant Podcast. My name's Phil. Joining me as usual, I've got Rohan. How you doing, mate?
Hey, good. How are you?
Yeah, very good, thank you. And today we're joined by Will. Hey, Will, how you going?
I'm really good, thanks. Thanks for having me, guys. Much appreciated.
Oh, you're welcome. This podcast is sponsored by Home Assistant Cloud by Nabucasa. For a small monthly fee, you'll unlock powerful features like secure, effortless access to your system from anywhere, your choice of voice assistants, offsite backups, and more, all configurable in the UI with no YAML needed. It also supports the development of Home Assistant, ESPHome, and other Open Home Foundation projects. Click the link in the description to learn more. We'd also like to give a shout out to our Patreon members, including our executive producers Benny, Jason, and Rob. You can help support the show and get early access to episodes, all in an ad-free feed. To support the show, check out homeassistant.fm and click Patreon in the menu. And of course, if you can't do that, we'd appreciate a like, comment, subscribe, or rating wherever you're listening or watching us today. It really helps us out. Will, thank you so much for joining us today. Where in the world are you joining us from?
Pleasure. So I'm from the UK. I live on the south coast of the UK. Sea is about 400 meters away.
Nice.
So
Nice.
in any other country, that would be epic, right? But because it's the UK, it'll be a bit grey and meh. But
I was going to say, there's a lot of like stones on the beach. You can really call it a beach.
yeah, there are stones. The stones were actually put there weirdly. It was sandy once, and then the wonders of
Oh, interesting.
coastal erosion, and somebody decided to dump a load of stones on there to make it a little bit more long lasting, I guess. But
Okay.
it's okay. It's it's somewhere nice to go and look at the water.
Nice.
Yeah, why not?
All right. So, what got you into home automation? Have you always been a tinkerer? Have you always been into home automation for a while?
I guess the home automation thing probably follows quite a well-trodden path. Like most people, I got an Alexa, and I got a Google Nest, and I got a few other. I got a couple of Philips Hue bulbs and a dimmer switch, and that was kind of the start of the journey. But yeah, I've always tinkered. I come from kind of a family of engineers and tinkerers, and I think kind of my childhood toys were more like old plugs and locks and screwdrivers or whatever. And there's some kind of legend that I took my grandparents' window catches off aged about like 18 months, 2 years with a screwdriver. So kind of flash forward a little bit, and yeah, I'm heading towards 50. So for me, computers were rubbish, and I started in the 8-bit age. My sadly long departed dad and I built a Sinclair ZX81 in like the early 80s, and then I used to fix Commodore 64s and Ataris and stuff for the local
I was
computer
going to say
shop in
Ataris,
the
yeah.
like Atari STs
Nice.
and Amigas and stuff in the early 90s. Then yeah, I fell into a career in IT. I was doing sort of very early internet dial-up and bulletin boards and stuff in like 1995, 96, and then yeah, started working with mainframes and Novell and coax networking and all kinds of hideous stuff that is fortunately long in the past.
Yeah.
I ran a managed services IT business for about 15 years, so kind of jack of all trades, master of
Nice.
none. But there was always
Yep.
this background of electronics and kind of getting involved in the slightly edgier or weirder stuff. So like Wi-Fi with Pringles Yagi antennas and
Yeah.
dodgy old analog satellite dishes and trying to that kind of stuff. So and a bit of an early love of audio gear as well. So very loud car stereos and hi-fi and all of that kind of
Wiring
stuff.
all the car, like wiring the car audio up yourself, and
All of that,
yeah,
yeah.
I
Like I
love
used
that.
to make the back screen flex in an old Saab and things. The stereo
Yeah.
was worth way more than
Yeah,
the
yeah,
vehicle,
yeah.
but it was great fun, great fun. And then I kind of lost it
Nice.
for a bit, and I think weirdly, I just kind of the electronics thing. I'd use it if I needed to fix something. I had a soldering iron, and I'd do some bits with it, but I guess work and kids and other commitments, it sort of fell away. And
Right.
kind of two things happened. One was at work, so I work for a kind of a high-tech manufacturing business. We make embedded PCs for the like pay-to-play casino industry, and also displays like the units behind me and stuff. And someone needed to look after a line of slot machines that we had because someone had left, and I was going, yeah, I could get involved in that, a bit of mechanical engineering and stuff. And then my coffee machine broke, and it's one of the bean to cup ones. It's like £600, and I was like, nope, I'm not having that. I'm going to take the lid off, and we're going to make it work. And I think, it's like, yeah, I've done it. And then it's like, actually, I'm still pretty good at this, other than the hands are somewhat shakier than they were 20 years ago. But notwithstanding that, and that just kind of, that combined with, as I was saying to Phil in our little preamble, kind of, I found Home Assistant by chance, like I think a lot of people do, just kind of go, oh, I've got all these apps and all these things that I need to control. And that kind of then converged like, oh, ESPHome and Tasmota and all of the kind of, system on chip type technologies. And that just created a whole new rabbit hole to go down for quite some time. And as you guys probably know, I blog. That's one of the other things that's kind of kept me into this, is just sort of exploring stuff. And hopefully you guys can link that through in the show notes later, and we can
for sure
drive some people to a crazy English bloke ranting about all sorts of stuff. But in the summer I did some pretty bonkers projects. Had an inflatable hot tub that had been just kind of sat in storage, because this being the UK, the weather is not always hot tub compliant. And so it's like, but I don't want to go outside to turn it on and heat it, so why don't I try and build a controller? And I did, and the hot tub then decided to get about 18 different holes in it, and that I had to patch and everything else. But that was kind of the first real project, was being able to turn that on and off. And from there, segued into swimming pool controllers. And my parents have a holiday home out in the Canary Islands, and so that's been a really interesting project, just to see how far I can take Home Assistant in an unattended environment. I see lots of stuff.
Because if obviously you're not physically there, right?
Exactly.
How do you manage that remotely, right?
Yeah, exactly. And they don't rent it out anymore, so it's just kind of relying on people that they know to drop in and stuff. We've had CCTV and things for a while, but the swimming pool was the biggie. And the swimming pool was like, we were paying somebody to go in and not just clean it, which still needs to happen periodically, but to literally check that the timers had gone on and off, to turn it, to throw chlorine in there, or change the pH and all of that good stuff. So somebody had very kindly built a Tasmota port of a controller for this. It's like a Hayward branded pool controller, and I built that. Did some fairly late nights, classic family holiday. Family went to bed, and there I am on the dining table with like a bodged up soldering iron. I think the stand for the soldering iron to find something metal was like the bottom of a frying pan or turned upside down or something. Bits of tin foil for stuff. But that's been pretty transformational. And as time goes on, we're kind of evolving that solution. I think I blogged recently about building a set of scales to solve a problem about the so you need to adjust the acidity of the pool, and the acid comes in barrels and gets pumped in to keep the pH regular. And how do we know when it's run out? And the easy option would have been take a float switch and just when the level goes below it, turn it off, job done. However, I made the fatal mistake of putting some questions like that into ChatGPT and got a bit of banter going. It's like, if you want the real elegant geek solution, weigh the barrel and see how much is left. And so then there was a whole other project of get some strain gauges, and I'll build. I've effectively built a set of scales that is accurate to about 10 grams, which I was pretty impressed with.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, over 200 kilos though. So, actually really, really good just using a little ESP module and ESPHome. So that was that was a bit of a triumph. Still got to actually ship it out there and get it installed. But
would you say ESPHome is your go-to system then? Like if you're going to build something, like just put on ESPHome and away you go?
I think so, just because, obviously the integration's there. I started with Tasmotor, and that's pretty cool as well. But you need MQTT, and you need a lot more kind of pre-configured. And as you guys will discover through this circle, I'm not a developer. I'm a wires guy. I come from an infrastructure background, so that bit I can do. But any of these hideous languages that use about 47 different types of parenthesis, and then are very fiddly about how many double spaces and things. It's like the devil spawn. So I like ESPHome because it's easy. Someone's probably done it before, and then I have learned to grapple with YAML up to a point that I can go and just amend something else. And this is where AI has been transformational for me, because kind of vibe coding stuff means that I can build stuff that is way beyond my pay grade, and I can see Phil's probably they go, I'm a proper developer, how dare you? But it makes it so accessible. So that's kind of what I've been doing, is a combination of borrowing other people's code blocks, or having it co-write with AI, and then just refine the process. But yeah, definitely ESPHome has been really, really interesting.
Would you say then, now that ESPHome is, or you're using YAML with ESPHome, when did you start using Home Assistant? Have you ever have to use a lot of YAML with Home Assistant?
No. So I'm probably only about 18 months, 2 years into my journey. So there's always been a reasonably solid GUI for me. I've obviously, in the context of what I've done elsewhere, I've had to deal with kind of JSON and other structured files, but it's definitely been a challenge. And the more, I guess that's what sets Home Assistant apart, isn't it? Because you can go and you can buy Homey, or one of the many other sort of pre-canned but far less extensible products out there, if you want to just have something and set and forget. But for me, I guess this is my hobby, and part of the joy is actually the time spent tinkering and getting it just right, and just
the care and feeding and all of that.
Just getting to the stage that I can get everything just visually beautiful. And I think I sent you a few of my dashboards. I just love spending a bit of time, and I'll spend however long just custom button card, just adjusting the couple of pixels in and stuff, just to make it so that it is how I want it to be. And I guess it's cheaper than going out drinking with the boys, or lots of other expensive sporting hobbies. It's cheaper than planes and boats and cars and stuff. So
for sure. I mean, it's certainly cheaper than some hobbies, but I wouldn't necessarily say it's the cheapest hobby.
That's true.
And I guess you kind of have to cut your coat, don't you, a little bit with that. And I'm still prepared for the door of abuse to be open, but I still unashamedly use quite a lot of sort of Tuya stuff in local Tuya, or just a direct Zigbee connection, because actually it works. And I can, an AliExpress delivery is like Christmas for me, because you're doubtless going to have about 185 items turn up in one parcel, and you never quite know what's going to come. But yeah, I've had some good success, like building custom like ZHA quirks and stuff, just to kind of tweak the functionality. So I'm not really heavily invested in it to the same degree that some people are. So I think presence is one of those that probably is a pretty kind of current issue, and I know a lot of people talk about like the Aquara or sort of Apollo sensors and that kind of stuff. and I haven't got to that point yet. It'd be really cool to get the millimeter wave stuff working properly, but
that's interesting that you to me that's backwards. Like presence is do it first, right? Like then all the fun stuff comes after that, but you've taken the opposite approach.
Well, yeah, and I guess for me, I started with my pain points, and I mentioned that one of the real bugbears was I've got two girls. They're 13 and 10 now, but they have kind of a massive aversion to turning anything off, lights, TVs, all of that kind of stuff. So, and I just had this kind of voice in the back of my head starting to sound like my parents. I was like, well, turn that blooming light off. And so, for clarity, my mum does not sound like that, but I was fixing those problems, and actually, for most of what we do, PIR's been okay. Because there's some neurospiciness in the family, so getting all four members of the family to sit still for more than about 5 minutes is unlikely anyway. So it's kind of served its purpose up till now. But one of the kind of successes I've had actually is I got these little all 2-year sensors look like a white pill, right? They're all created equal. I got a little white pill, but this one is like a 4-in-1, so you get temperature, humidity, light level, and supposedly millimeter wave presence, but what is actually PIR. But it has the beauty that you can then, it's got 2 separate states being reported in the Zigbee sensors. So I managed to get one of those to kind of lock. So it's like you have the PIR for the movement, and then I lock the state of that for say 5 or 10 minutes after it's detected the last motion, which is normally enough just to say there is presence for a period of time. We'll get there. One of the joys of kind of having a period house is that all my spare money pretty much goes into that, and the stuff I blog about, there's not home automation, is me hacking at single glazed timber windows and stuff to try and keep it warm, dry, and working. But it does mean you've got to kind of be sympathetic as well to what you've got, and so actually the little vanilla white pills, you can kind of paint them, you can do whatever with them to make them fairly unobtrusive, and I'm about to hopefully launch into the world of 3D printing soon, and then that's another rabbit hole for printing cases and things for sensors and stuff.
Do you find having like much issues having such a period home in terms of like radio frequencies going through walls or anything?
Yeah, massively. Up and down is not too bad. This has got like lath plaster, so there's no plasterboard. You got the wooden warps kind of threaded through with lime plaster over the top. That bit's not too bad, other than fixing stuff to it. But the walls are obviously all made of brick rather than anything else. So yes, I've got, how many have I got? I've got 3 Zigbee repeaters sort of strategically placed to keep my mesh working, and then 5, 6 access points. I got like 3 up in the loft, and then a couple kind of dotted around. I love Unify, but I haven't quite made the jump to that in my house yet. So it's kind of a Sonic Wall, which is the firewalls I used to sell, with the managed access points coming off that. So yeah, it's AC Wave 2, and it does the job. But yeah, it's taken quite a while to get a solid, stable signal. And the only saving grace is that we had to have new heating put in when we moved in, and so there's actually like boxed in conduits from the attic all the way down to the ground floor. So I've managed to throw some Ethernets in those and create a reasonably solid situation. But yeah, it's fun.
I can imagine. It sounds like so much fun.
So it sounds like you're primarily on Zigbee then, like in terms of protocols, stuff like that.
Yeah. So I haven't found a need for Z-Wave yet.
Yeah.
I think for me, I kind of look at it and go, I don't really want too much Wi-Fi stuff. I know you guys have got a fairly similar sort of opinion on this. From a security point of view, particularly if I'm buying somewhat more questionable sensors, I'd rather they can't call home to Beijing or whatever. And so having the Zigbee ones, at least I know what they're doing and what their their capabilities are. I've got a few Wi-Fi devices because some stuff just comes like that. But mostly Zigbee. With ZHA, I still haven't kind of been brave because I think it feels like the MQTT solution is probably the more extensible way to do it. But
sure,
it's worked for me up till now. I've got maybe 50-60 devices in total, I should think, when you got door switches and temperature and all of that kind of good stuff. It's been a journey, but it's been a really enjoyable journey so far.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, because Z-Wave uses a different frequency, right? So it's not on 2.4, it's on 900 something, whatever.
Yeah, wherever you are. Yeah, 433 or 866, right. I think. And I guess... obviously,
which would be better for you going through your walls and right.
Yeah,
so there might be some interesting things there too. But
well, I've got a couple of bits down at so we've got a reasonably big garden by UK standards. Nothing by probably what either of you guys can consider to be large, but we've got about third of half an acre, so the end of the garden is probably 30 meters away, something like that. So that's presented a couple of challenges with and actually I've ended up with a power line extender down to there for now because I haven't run an Ethernet, and that has a couple of Wi-Fi devices on there for outside temperature and a few other sort of and CCTV down there. But that's a use case for Z-Wave that would work quite nicely. And actually in my parents' place down in the Canaries, weirdly, that's horrific. I don't know what, I think it's made out of primarily it's a volcanic island, and a lot of the blocks are like cinder blocks, and they're very dense. And so actually, I've got a Hue bridge out there, and even just getting that to work maybe 2 rooms away was a massive challenge. So in that sort of scenario, the Z-Wave stuff would be really pretty useful. Again, if you read my blog, I did this thing called strawtenna, which was I'd kind of sacrificed another 2-year sensor in my one of my evenings while I was there. So one of the things that would be really cool to know is, has the power gone off? There's a bit of grid fragility out there, so sometimes it goes off, and I haven't managed to convince my parents to get solar there yet. But has the fridge warmed up to the point that the food you left behind is spoiled? And I took a load of sensors out with me, put one in the fridge, thought, right, and out there I've got an RPi, and it's about with just a simple USB Zigbee in the front. And it's in like a little rack with a few other 19-inch rack in the living room with a few other bits for the internet, and I just couldn't get it to reach. So there was a situation browsing the net, going, exactly how many millimeters of wire do I need to get like a quarter or eighth wave of a 2.4 gigahertz antenna to do it? And it worked, and it was very elegant, involving the use of a paper drinking straw to hold the exposed bit of conductor outside of the thing, 2 little wires poking up like that. I did my parents a favor and kind of made it fridge color with silver duct tape, but I think it's been vetoed by the domestic administration department, and I think I might have to come up with something better. But it was really, there was an interesting kind of case for how far can you get Zigbee to go with the right antenna and a bit of ingenuity. But Yeah.
And so was that powered on batteries, or was
Yeah,
it
it
like
was.
plugged in?
Powered on batteries, the little like pill-shaped thing actually in the fridge, and then
Yep.
it outside. 'Cause I wanted to do the freezer because that's probably the more relevant one, but I think at -18, the 2-year thing might have other ideas once it's frozen over. But
Yeah.
kind of 6 degrees, it was it was okay. Better than the other effort that I did with the one that in my driveway. I was trying to trigger the LLM Vision. I was having an experiment with that, and the motion detection on my cameras is pretty crappy, and so and unusually for the UK, I've got palm trees, like 30-40 foot tall palm trees in my front garden, and so they literally
Nice.
the wind has to blow like that, and the motion detection
Yeah.
goes off, even kind of setting zones and things. So I thought, outside motion sensors seems to be a contentious issue, and if it's not the Philips Hue, which I wasn't going to spend like 60-70 pounds on a sensor, there don't seem to be too many other choices. I think there's an Aquara one that might be okay, but so I again sacrificing bits of 2-year, and I got an antenna off an old access point, kind of soldered it onto the board and screwed the little antenna on. It looked like a Cold War listening device because I'd encased the whole thing in heat shrink and put a bungee strap and put it around one of the palm trees, and it worked from the point of view of kind of it triggered, but it didn't last that long during field testing, shall we say. I don't think the wetness of the British weather did it too well.
Right.
But
And for your fridge sensor, like, how are you measuring when the temperature got too high? Was it like a temperature sensor?
it was a temperature sensor,
Or-
yeah. So
yeah, so and then Home Assistant, you would have like a threshold, like, okay, it's reached this threshold. That's it, the
correct,
food
yeah.
is out.
So there's a again, I think I sent you some of the dashboards for that, and so there's an automation in Home Assistant that then says, send an alert to my phone in the event that it's gone above, say, 10 degrees or inside the refrigerator. But also we have a little device that kind of does like a dying gasp sort of thing. So it's an SMS. It's got a SIM card in it, and if the AC power trips out, it's got a small battery in. It's called a power text, and then it sends a GSM old school SMS to your phone to say the power has tripped out, and then that's normally. I'm trying to get to the point where we can reset the breakers and stuff remotely. That'll be this summer's project, but nowadays it's just phone the guy down the road, get him to go and turn the breaker back on, or is it actually a power cut, or has something just tripped the circuit breaker? So yeah, challenges, but
I'd be interested to know, like, what's your plan there to
Yeah, what are you
do the
using?
breakers? Like, are you thinking Shelly? Have you got something?
well, so I'm quite invested in the Shelly ecosystem with other stuff, but this is actually the main incoming breaker. So Shelly don't yet have a product for that is actually like an RCD type solution. There are a couple of sort of European ones. I think Schneider Electric make one that has a kind of an auto retrip or like a smart retrip. There are a couple of Chinese branded ones that, I mean, they're CE and they're built to like the ISO standard. So I guess they're as good as anything else. I have to get one out there and try. I put a couple of the MCB units into the pool controller because that's got a separate distribution board outside. So I didn't really care if it caught fire in a little concrete shed quite so much. But they've been pretty reliable. They get them set up in Smart Life, then put them into local 2-year, and I've left them in Smart Life as well, actually, because then if the Home Assistant goes down, I've still got a backdoor way of getting in, just to flick the switch, and that turns my Tasmotor controller on and off, and it turns the heat pump off for the pool and the pump and the circulation pump. So yeah, that all worked out pretty well, but the main incoming one is a little bit more industrial in size. So it's finding like a sort of 60 amp breaker that or RCD that you can reset remotely it's been a challenge, especially trying to do it in Spanish to find something that's locally approved.
Have you looked at any of those? Like, there's a lot of those whole home kind of battery manufacturers, right? And a lot of them actually make smart panels to go with it.
That's an interesting thought. No, I hadn't. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know that they're very cheap.
No, probably
or,
not.
Or affordable even to start with.
No, that's a fair idea. I'd love to do solar, but it's because I've got an EV, and that's been one of my other projects. Has kind of been how much is it costing to charge the EV and things versus other stuff going on. I've got quite a good tariff, but it'd be lovely to kind of go, my motoring's almost free, but 12,000 pounds worth of stuff I haven't got, because you don't want to do it by halves, right? And one of the guys that was on a few shows ago saying, we've got 20, 30, 40 panels, and it's like, wow, that's and 3 batteries. Wow. And you kind of 30 kilowatts of stored energy. I think if I could get 15 kilowatts like the Tesla Powerwall, or actually SIG Energy do a really cool one now, which does DC grid to vehicle to grid type stuff that integrates with Home Assistant. That would be really cool. I'd love to do something like that.
Yeah, there's and a lot of vendors, at least like a few that we spoke to at CES, are starting to open it up too, and saying,
cool.
We now partner with like Shelly, we partner with like that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, so I was sad not to make it to CES. I was hoping to kind of come and see you guys in person, but maybe next year if you make it out there.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
100%.
Did you find anything really interesting? Was there anything really cool, or am I spoilering for a future episode?
A little bit, but I don't know. It's just there's cool stuff, and then there's like meh. Like everybody has like a robot that doesn't really do a whole lot.
Yeah. Your bandwagon jumping on. Yeah.
Right. And
that
and that was basically the theme of CES, right? It's actually exactly what you said, Will, which is bandwagoning.
Yeah.
Right? And it's people jumping on and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so, kind of going back to, your smart home and stuff like that. You talked about the controller behind you. I'm curious.
Yeah.
What's that, and what are you doing with it?
So it's probably gone to sleep now, hasn't it? Come back to life. There we go. So can we see this? In fact, there you go. So it's just like a little push button control panel. So I can push the buttons. You'll probably kind of see it work. So it should go to lighting, and maybe if I do this, you'll see the light level go up and down a little bit by me, and
appreciate the winter
the
lab
labs feature.
Labs feature, and again comes back to the kids have probably just left it on, so I'll go there now, and my youngest had already left her light on, and so that, and I kind of got it doing media player stuff with music assistant, so I kind of got the different rooms and stuff teed up in there, and you saw the camera views here, so I can kind of hopefully switch between the different views and see what's going on outside. And yes, I have still got my Christmas lights up because it's 7 meters off the ground and I need a scaffold tower to get them down, so they're staying till next year. Something really cool I've been doing is so with the heating. I mean, I've blogged about this, about my Nest and I have a combative relationship, shall we say, in that it decides what it wants me to do with my heating, and I'm not really cool with that. I've nicknamed it General Nest, because basically, whatever you do, it doesn't follow any orders. It does exactly what it wants to do, and whatever the question, the answer is 9 degrees Celsius. Whether that's 5:30 on a winter's morning or the summer, the answer is 9 degrees Celsius. I've cleared all the sensors out, I've blown it away, I've factory reset it, I've moved it from the Nest app to Google Home. It still doesn't listen to me. So I've bought in the Black Friday sale, I bought one of the Shelly, like the double-sized control panels, and so couple of the high current relays, so I can do my immersion heater and stuff like that. Just ran out of time over the festive break to do anything with it. But the interesting part, and going back round to the vibe coding thing, is I've been doing a lot with the unofficial MCP in Home Assistant, and it's been really quite interesting seeing what it can do and what, given the data, what can it do to kind of help you customize something like heating. So I'm also in the throes of trying to work out for my job what products are best suited to what types of tasks, and
Sure.
So this will come as no surprise, but Claude Code knocks the Gemini and OpenAI into a cocked hat when it comes to doing this sort of stuff. But this dashboard was, well, the bones were built by ChatGPT, and then Claude has finessed it. But it's also, see if I can show you that. It's also built me kind of some other boards, which I gave it tell me how long it takes to heat up in particular rooms, which is the fastest room to heat up, which is the slowest room to heat up. How much does that cost me in terms of energy? So, and what should I do? Should I, leave it running in the fashion that I've got it, or should I let it, change the way? And it came up with a reasonably well conceived sort of panel for analyzing the heating and things like that. I think it's now one of the beautiful things I was going to show you, but one of the beautiful things that MCPs kind of also go a little bit beyond their remit, which is funny. Particularly Google has. I've almost started getting really cheeky with it now and going, Have you deleted my helper entities again? Because everything gone unavailable all of a sudden. It's like it comes back all apologetic and goes, oh yes, I appear to have, and I've literally got to the point I've got an A4 side of Markdown now for you've deleted all my bloody helpers again. Go and recreate them from this and pump them back in. So yeah, it's been an interesting kind of journey, but So I think,
and this is all just Home Assistant running on that UI. That's just
pure Home Assistant. That's pure. That's Home Assistant running in Firefox in a browser. And in fact, I'll hold it up so we don't have to reshare. But if I just do that, you'll see it's just a browser view with the and there it is.
That's cool.
But with the beauty of tactile buttons, so just having physical surfaces. I want to put some more panels in around the house, but this is quite nice to sit on my desk, and you can see the one behind me. This is actually a 2U with a rotary jog dial on the end, and so I don't know what purpose that would serve in a home construct, but I'm going to geek out with it anyway and see where we get to. Again, it's designed primarily for the broadcast market, for kind of outside broadcast or control rooms and that sort of thing, for mixing video and audio sources. But again, it's an IPS touch panel with physical buttons, and that's kind of the intellectual property that my employer has, is these sort of tactile objects that you put over the top of touch screens, so you can have context sensitive sliders, rotaries, buttons, all of that kind of stuff, and they're not actually a physical contact. It's actuating the touch panel behind it. So it's kind of cool. Hoping that we're going to do some wall panel stuff, actually, like lower cost ESP based ones that has got me tinkering with ESPHome written all over it, in little kind of smaller form factors for things. So that'd be pretty cool, and get those with some Shellys behind them or something, and away we go.
Yeah.
Now, if you're looking to upgrade your smart home, you can't go past Zeus. Zeus have just released their brand new Z-Wave long-range RGBW dimmer. You can now automate 12 to 24 volt LED light strips for full brightness and color control. It's designed to easily install behind your momentary wall switch, or you can pair it with a Z-Wave scene controller for literally flexibility anywhere. You can use the RGBW dimmer for accent lighting, under cabinets, behind screens, or wherever crazy you can think to put an RGBW light strip. Zeus are also an official Works with Home Assistant partner, helping Nabucasa by providing long-range devices for testing the Home Assistant Connect ZWA2 radio, so you know you're in friendly hands. Zeus offer a range of affordable and innovative devices including water leak sensors, water valve controllers, smart plugs, and scene controllers. Their Zen 78 high power relay allows you to control and monitor higher load appliances up to 40 amps, which is perfect for pool pumps, air compressors, and other high power outlets. So for the best prices on all Zeus products, head over to thesmartesthouse.com. That's thesmartesthouse.com.
Well, I want to pivot a little bit to go back to talking about your parents' place there. So, with having such a remote area, how are you connecting in? What are you doing? How are you building that? I know you mentioned you had an extra SIM card there. You're doing a couple of those things, but what's the primary method of connecting from where you are?
Surprisingly, which, you know, this is one of the hilarities of things like the EU and stuff, full symmetric fiber to the premises broadband. So it's a little island in the middle Atlantic, but got 500 meg symmetric fiber broadband from Telefonica, which pretty much works. The like a lot of these places, the constraint is typically the aggregate bandwidth going off the island rather than the bandwidth to the device. But I've worked out there, gone out on holiday with family and kind of extended and spent a bit of time working out there. So that bit surprisingly is all right. So yeah, as I said, it's got a Raspberry Pi, and I run TailScale into that as an add-on into Home Assistant. And it's got I use the Cloudflare kind of dynamic DNS script on the router to basically give me a public way into it from when the IP changes. So it's been pretty solid in that regard. I do have the capability. That is on Unify, weirdly enough, because my parents have got more money for me than for stuff like that than I have. And at the time, they were one of the only people that had a really solid outdoor, AP that I could put by the pool, because clearly that's where you need Wi-Fi most, right?
Yeah, of course.
So and that's all been pretty solid. Just connecting to the Pi, and it's not got a massive number of sensors. There's probably 30, 40 devices, including some like Hikvision CCTV and stuff that's aggregated in. So actually I see that the NVR's got proper integration in 2026.1, so I'll have a little play with that some point shortly. I think that was it was a fun project. It made what was actually a really rubbish family holiday where my wife and one of my daughters got ill, and while we were away, the valet parking crashed my Tesla and caused a load of damage to it, and there was just a comedy of errors. But the thing that kept me going through it was, I've done some home automation work and it's been really cool and I've enjoyed it, and I've done soldering, and I think from the point of view of it also has kind of extreme, it's not wife approval factor, it's mother approval factor. So you've got kind of two things. One is, does it work? But also you're kind of dealing with septuagenarians trying to use it. There was an initial support period, shall we say, where I had built the automations for the pool, where she's phoning me up going, the pH is a bit high, can you do this, can you do that? And I think it's just it's settled down a little bit now, and I'll add a few extra bits this summer just to make it a little bit easier.
Have you thought about using, I know there's a HACS component called, was it the remote home assistant component, where you can then link up to home assistant instance. So you could have the sensors from your parents' house as native sensors in your local
Oh,
one, and then you could
okay.
do
That's interesting.
local automation.
No, I've
Yeah.
not come across that.
Yeah.
That's really cool because at the moment where there are cloud-based products, so the two one, for example, actually they're all registered to the same email address, so I get them presented here and I just ignore them, and I get the ones from here presented there and just ignore them. But that could be cool. And then I kind of, so is it like almost as a slave effectively, or
Yeah, exactly. So back in the day when I was
There's things you wouldn't be able to do, but yeah.
okay.
I was trying to when I was trying to optimize my Home Assistant in the early days, I
Yeah.
would find early Home Assistant being really slow. I was running 3 instances of Home Assistant,
Okay.
and in my I thought, oh, I'll be smart. I'll put all my cloud-dependent stuff on one instance,
Okay,
so that
yeah.
if I ever needed to reboot that, they would all come from that one instance and be slow. Home Assistant is now much faster and
Yeah.
much more multi-threaded, so you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, you could have all your parents' sensors on
That's quite cool.
on their instance,
Yeah.
pull it into yours, and then if the pH level does, for whatever reason, rise, instead of the notification having to come from their side, you could actually
Yeah.
put it on your dashboard and automate from your side.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I know. At the moment, the notifications are pretty trivial, and I just do the 3-finger swipe on the mobile app to switch between the two that I'm running, and that works okay. But I think, certainly that's something to consider. And I guess, if you've got rental properties and stuff, that's pretty cool, isn't it?
That's true.
One of the things I'm trying to do at the moment with the blog and everything else is, I don't know what my long-term career will be, but at some point I'm going to want to stop doing all the corporate stuff. So if I build a bit of credibility in this, managed home assistant is something that actually, I don't know how much money there is. I know a few people have talked about it on here and on things like Home Tech Podcast and stuff. I think it's kind of got mileage in having a Home Assistant core with kind of a pre-curated set of sensors that work and that will do the job, and being able to kind of offer that to people who don't have the technical skills to put it in, because it's so much better than Homey or any of the other out of the box ones, because of the extensibility and the community support. And as I was saying before we started, Phil, that's what dragged me in. It's like, oh, it's open source, and oh wow, you can literally plug anything into it. You literally can interface it to your fridge, that's the appeal for the tinkerers, but maybe less so for people who have to just use it.
It's again, it's a double-edged sword with it, right? It's how complicated do you want to get?
This is it, and I guess I kind of have to sit in the middle of that, because I said, okay, I have the mother approval factor, but my wife has begrudgingly come around to some of it. And I think, kind of the one of the guys called it the lady in the tube on one of your other shows, and that's kind of stuck with us. The lady in the tube, because there's one on my desk and she'll do God knows what if I say ever, turn the lights on, turn the lights off, and that bit's kind of stuck. But some of the other stuff is like, it's spooky, you're stalking me, when I'm home, when I'm not home. You had LLM Vision piping up and like saying, Mrs. Osborne Kennedy is in the garden carrying a green gardening bucket and whatever. And it's like, so it's kind of there is a degree of pushback on a domestic level, where she just kind of goes, if only there was this thing called a switch on the wall and you could turn the light on and off and on and off. I'm like, yeah, but you have to be there. You can't do it remotely. It's like, well, I'm not in the room, so why do I care? So you kind of have this, slightly more traditional approach to things, which in some ways it keeps me grounded, because it's a rabbit hole, isn't it, Home Assistant? You could go as far down the rabbit hole as you want to go.
Or stay very high level if you don't want to get too technical. That is an option now.
That's it. So I think it keeps me grounded in the not going down for some of the crazier stuff that I could do. Although I've recently, one of the more fun ones is so on my keys I got one of the little Shelly tile things, and so we'll see whether it works. And if I want to get my kids out of bed, I double click it, and hopefully Is it going to do it? No, it's probably not going to do it now, is it? Now I've got somebody on here. No, it's not going to do it now. But yeah, I've got an automation that should fire the lady in the tube to start playing. It's probably playing out there like a horn sound to wake them up, which
Wake everyone up.
yeah, that hasn't gone down resoundingly well. It was a fairly grumpy 10-year-old at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm up again. But
you got to use your power wisely, right? Like you got to use it responsibly.
Right.
yes, that's it. With great power comes great responsibility, as the Linux login page always says.
What would
That's right.
be one of your favorite automations that you've got happening?
That's a good question. I think I did actually write it down because I've done some crazy stuff. So really practical one is just I've got a tilt. We've got a parcel box in the Porsche. Got a tilt sensor that alerts on my phone, and just then the lady in the tube says a parcel has been dropped in the box, and then I tried to take it a step further with LLM Vision to say, an Amazon parcel has been dropped in the box or whatever. I didn't quite get there because I don't know. I know, Phil, you've done a bit of work with LLM Vision, and it smokes crack some of the time, right?
It does.
Yeah. And so we had one of them was like, Domino the cat is in the front garden. It appears he has unplugged the charging cable to the Tesla. Okay then, yeah. So yeah, we gave up on that one. But the memories could work well. I think that could be pretty cool. What else? I'm pretty impressed with my acid pump scales. That's definitely got to be one of the automations that's gonna, that will cut out the peristaltic pump when it runs out. I did one while we were away because our cats are quite young and quite new. So, and one of the other legendary parts of this holiday is that one of the cats went missing twice and had to be retrieved by parents, neighbours, friends, and whatever. So I had I use a Synology NAS, so I had one of their, I think it's called DS Cam, which is like their little, or DS Live Cam. You can use an old mobile phone, which I kind of parked above the cat flap, put a magnetic sensor on the cat flap, and then did two things. Before LLM Vision, while I was on holiday, I was furiously trying to build a couple of VMs in Azure to use like Python and Flask to ingest an image and determine whether one of the cats had gone out. But it also made it light up like Brooklyn Bridge at night, and every nearby light turned on, and it was like kind of a prison break for the cats. They were trying to run to see if they could get the cat flap to go without it lighting up. So that was kind of fun. Say the buttons to just do silly stuff. Christmas is always a fun one for me, like getting all the lights out there, and then all my friends go, it must cost you a fortune, and this year I've gone over to the Shelly side and I had everything plugged in. Actually, I'm only drawing 21.7 watts thanks to the wonders of LEDs right now, so that'll cost me nothing today. I'm being very smug about it.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I know there's so much more that I could do, and I'd love to explore a lot more. I feel you're quite into grocery, aren't you? That kind of my wife likes an inventory, so I'm kind of thinking that might be quite a cool way to go, but that's a very big rabbit hole. And like
it is, and I would love grocery to be as automated as possible. Like I know it's got like scale support, and it's got a very good API.
I've got some scales that will work.
Yeah, I mean, you sound like you're pretty handy with the scales and getting that working. But if it was better automatable, like I can't keep track of inventory enough, right? Like I've got Home Assistant automating what I can, but it's just the random the consumables that I just can't track.
I kind of almost want to be able to have like a little barcode scanner outside the larder just to go in,
Even then, like that's just it's too much.
Too much
like,
hassle, right?
For me, that's it, yeah.
Yeah.
Realistically, in my family, I'm the only one that's going to do that, so therefore it's going to be out of sync all the time. I'm going to be spending time just keeping the inventory up to date. So
it's either that or like photographing receipts or getting your online shopping receipt and dragging that into it. But I know you guys have. One of the things with work is looking at kind of automations with N8N and Power Automate. Those feel like sort of use cases for that kind of stuff, that you build a little add-on for it so it can ingest your shopping receipts and then add it to the inventory. Then it's just got to have something on the bin that identifies the stuff as you throw it away, right?
Yeah, that's it, right? I know paperless, which is like another self-hosted thing, that's pretty good. Like reading PDFs and as a scanner and stuff. That can be helpful, but once again, right, like then you've got to plug that into something, and N8N is perfect for that. And then what you do?
Well, I'm trying to kind of. I had a home lab to end all home labs a few years ago, and then I kind of went, I don't need all this now. Everything's in the cloud. I don't need it. And I had a couple of nice little microservers, and I sold all of them on eBay, and then got into home automation, and now I'm kind of slowly trying to build some of that infrastructure back up again. So one of the other things you probably kind of see, you can't really see in there, but in there is kind of the hub of it all, and the other product that my work makes are these industrial PCs that are meant for slot machines, but the wonder is that they're fanless, so they're completely solid state and mega reliable. So I have one of those running my Home Assistant, and another one that's a Docker host, I recently did a load of stuff to do satellite to IPTV streaming through the house, which has been another interesting project. You guys familiar with Channels DVR? It's got a home assistant integration.
No.
Okay, it's quite big. I think they do a product called an HD Home Run in the US and Canada, which you can kind of So that I've got that running on a Docker container, and then starting to build the controls for Home Assistant for that, so that I can stream to all the different IP devices in the house and stuff. That's been kind of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah. So there you go. Loads of things going on. None of them finished. We'll get there one day, right? Do you ever finish? No, I don't think anyone ever finishes with a Home Assistant, do they?
There's no end state.
No, there isn't. It's like home renovation. By the time you've got to the last room, you're back painting the first one again.
You're back to the first.
Yeah.
2026 has just started for us as we're recording this. What is something that you're hoping to either start or finish this year? Like if there's one project you're looking forward to that, comes December, you're going to be, I achieved that this year?
That's a really good question. So what would I like to do? I would really like to get the hot tub actually in and working. That would be a lovely one to do. I think the heating and actually kind of the energy consumption thing for me is going to be a big kind of theme. I'd love to be able to kind of reduce my environmental impact, because having a big old kind of house with lots of gaps in windows and things means that I use a lot more energy than your average consumer. So it'd be nice to kind of bring the confluence of those two bits of my life together, and actually be able to demonstrate that you can be the steward of a beautiful old building, but you can still put really cool stuff in there that makes a difference. So I'd love to be able to kind of 3D print some sensor casings that are in keeping with my my house, and maybe build some enclosures for tablets and things that are again in the style of, and have those mounted and have them working so that you can control things but they look like they're meant to be there. Those sorts of things would be really cool. And I think the other one would be water usage. So we've got irrigation, and I don't know how popular these are in the US or in Australia, but a company called Orbit Irrigation, which they make this thing called a beehive, which is a multi-port kind of irrigation
Oh,
controller.
yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen those.
So I've got that going on, and it would be really nice to understand. I've bought a few like soil moisture sensors to be able to automate that much more from this is actually needed rather than it's just on a schedule because it says it's on a schedule. So my wife likes to grow vegetables and things, so it'd be kind of the smart greenhouse and sort of moving into agri-tech type stuff a little bit. That'd be quite a cool way to go.
Nice.
So that's my 2026. Oh, I'm building my ambi light, which is my kind of electronics project. So using WLED and building an ambi light for the behind my TV. That'll be
WLED, yeah.
And doing a USB frame grabber into a Raspberry Pi and then piping that into WLED without having to spend £150 on a Philips one. So just for a bit of fun. And I think Shelly everywhere.
Nice.
Shelly everywhere is the. If you're listening, Shelly guys, I will happily do more reviews. I tag them in my blog all the time.
Perfect.
One of the things with the period house is hiding away, and that's Shelly's been a little bit of an interesting one in the UK because the frames and the units are designed for mainland European kind of electrical fittings, so having to come up with some slightly more innovative solutions. I actually found you can get some RJ45 faceplates and just cut them a little bit, and then the Shelly switches and things fit nicely behind them. So
that's good too.
So you can then put the Shelly the BLE or the physical switches in a UK box without breaking the bank or having to 3D print one and stuff. So that's the ongoing kind of Shellyization of my house to really do the local first thing, because given where this crazy geopolitical climate's going, having nobody else in charge of my house starts to feel really quite relevant, and hence the energy independence as well, right? So
I mean, I think it's geopolitical stuff aside, I think it's just good in general too, right? And just you don't need to rely on the power company, you don't need to rely on whatever. It just stuff happens, right? And it's whether it's in their hands or out of their hands. But are you doing anything with the Shellys where you're running any local scripts on the Shellys? Because those can do that, right?
Yeah. So I've been fitting out what we called the playroom, which was like the dumping ground in our house that's become kind of our second living space now. And so I had some scripts running on there because I wanted it to kind of control some of the IKEA trad-free stuff that I had in there before, and so actually it was really laggy sending it off to Home Assistant, so I had it kind of intercept the BLE and send a webhook directly in rather than using MQTT and stuff. That was quite cool. And one of the things I did with work this year was doing some remote power monitoring and temperature monitoring, so kind of building scripts to make virtual sensors in Shelly to do because you can effectively use fairly cheap NTC thermistor sensors then to monitor lots of different temperatures and voltages. So that was again, I'm not amazed at JavaScript, so somebody else helped me with that, whose name might start with Chatty and end with G, but hey ho, means to an end. But love the Shelly stuff for that. Love that it's again, it fits into that ethos of kind of local first, open source, and I've actually kind of been saying to the guys at work that I love their model of basically you get the community to do your marketing for you. You release it and you engage with them, and you create an influencer community that goes and evangelizes about your product for you. It's an amazing way of marketing things. So if there were more companies like that in the world, it would be a good thing. I
agree.
Yeah, I mean, I remember listening to the air purifier guy from Thailand that you had on. That was a pretty interesting story. That was a pretty interesting story as well. These sort of community interest things, and I guess again, back to how Open Home Foundation and stuff all sits and works. In the crazy world that we're in, that stuff's gold dust, right? And finding companies and other people that believe in the same thing.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of these, the more successful companies, I would say, in home automation are the ones that we keep hearing about, at least on the podcast.
Yeah.
It's the Apollos, it's the Zoos, it's Shelly. It's like, it's exactly what you said, because they're very community involved. So the community obviously likes that, right?
Absolutely. And, that's where, as the tinkerer in me comes out, like, finding cool uses for products, and they're not going to burn you for it. Following with great interest this thing about Chamberlain garage door openers in the US and how they've been pulling this perpetual game of cat and mouse as to the rad GTOs and stuff, whether they can turn them on, turn them off. It's like, that is a model of how not to do business in the home automation space, right? It's been an interesting journey, and I've learned so much in the last 18 months, and I've learned an awful lot from you guys, just listening in, and and to your guests, and just, it's amazing just kind of picking up ideas on how to do things from other listeners is part of what I love.
Well, it's more than one way to skin a cat, right? And
that's it.
Not that we should be skinning cats.
No, my cats might be a bit unimpressed about that, but I think like someone was talking about, I'm going to read my water meter using a module with a little camera in it, and that's one of the things I want to try and do. And I've been in Spain. They use like the light pulses to convey electricity readings. So going to try and build a little ESP module to read the pulses from that to get the smart metering, because I've tried grappling with their API and in Spanish, and that didn't quite go too well for me. So, but again, in Europe, they have dynamic energy pricing. I think last week's guest was talking about that, and so I'd love to be able to go, I know I've got 18 hours in front of me. We'll turn the pool pump on between 4 and 5 in the morning, and 8 and 10 at night, or whatever, to take advantage of the pricing for that. So some interesting stuff to do with that as well. That is all derived from listening to you guys, and kind of understanding what the art of the possible, really, because you only know what you know, right? And then
and just hearing someone else's idea might spark, someone else, I could do it this way. Yeah. Well, thank you for listening to our podcast. Where can people find your blog?
Okay, so my blog is at blog.schwok.com, which is SHWOK. It's called Control Alt Delusions, and it's my ramblings about home automation and period house restoration, parenting fails, politics, whatever happens to take my fancy that week. It'd be great to get some of the listeners to come along and have a look at what a Gen X middle-aged dad does in his spare time.
Well, we'll leave links to that on homeassistant.fm. Will, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. It's been a blast, and thanks for all you do for the community.
No, thanks for listening.
Appreciate it. Cheers.